All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Man in the Middle. I'm your host, Ab. We got my moderator here, Yada, my co host, Chaz, our guest, Malika. Um, Man in the Middle, for those of y'all who are not aware, is a show that matches mothers who are raising sons with men in the community who care, right? We try to have conversations to kind of find a middle ground and help support these young men in their maturation process. The conversation for tonight is about it's more so about the mothers than the sons, but the sons are definitely impacted. And the conversation for tonight is dating while parenting, right? So, we're talking about the I guess the hurdles that we got to climb, or the things that we got to deal with, the little nuances that we have to deal with while navigating that space. Okay, regardless of how you got to that space, whether you left a relationship or you were never in a relationship or whatever the dynamic is. I kind of want to touch on those bases. So I got a video that I kind of want to start with, and I kind of want to get everybody's opinion on it. But before we do that, Malika, can I ask you to introduce yourself and give like a quick, maybe like a quick introduction of who you are and maybe a brief about your son, his age, what he's into. Just brag on him real quick.
Sure, I'm Malika. Myself, I'm 32, just turned 32, sad season. I have a 7-year-old. He is wonderful. He plays basketball, he plays piano. I'm an educator, so I'm really, and he's obviously here with me. Oh my God, stop it, Saeed, please. He's always with me. He's amazing. So yeah, I'm an educator. So like I said, I'm really like on him when it comes to like school and stuff like that. So he's stop. And he is my joy. Love him so
Beautiful,
much. Yes.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna play this first video. This is a off TikTok, a female content creator, talking about her perspective on the subject.
Like, am I ever gonna date? You're a single mom or you're about to be a single mom and you're wondering like, am I ever gonna date? Is anyone ever gonna want me? Like, how would I date if I have a kid? Like, nobody's gonna want that like quote unquote baggage. I don't view it as that, but people refer to it as that. If you're worried about those things, please do not be. Because it's scary. Like, as soon as you become a mom, it's like a bat signal gets put into the sky that they're like, yeah, she's a single mom. And men just like, they just want that. They're like, yeah, like she takes care of a kid. Like, she's going to take care of me. No, I will not. No, I will not be taking care of you. But if you do truly feel like you're never going to find someone, that's not true. You'll have a pick of the bunch and they will probably still be gross because you'll be able to spot that shit from a mile away. But this is your message that if you're a single mom, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I'm telling you, you're gonna be fine.
All right. So before we get into that, let me ask you guys, like, for the mothers in the room, what was your experience getting into the dating space after you became a mother?
I was a dog. when we broke up, I was a dog. Like I had like a good like year and a half of just dog ass behavior, honestly. But it's like, I was a teen mom, everything was like young for me. So it's like at this point, I'm 20 years old and I'm coming out of, a whole family, like, hey, and I don't really have a whole lot, of history under my belt or, I don't want to be like variety, but I don't have a whole lot of variety under my belt. So it's like I'm getting into this dating world all off top. I'm already a mom and it's like I'm already young. It's just like I want to see what's going on in the world. I was a dog. Like I was a horrible person. Like honestly, like just ruthless, very ruthless. I started dating a guy that I met at work and it was weird. Like 3 weeks in, he got locked up for like he had like a bench warrant for something. It was like no like crime or anything, but he didn't show up for court and they was just trying to hold him because they knew they couldn't hold him once he actually went to court. So I'm like, well, good luck. So when he came home, we weren't talking anymore, but it was like some drama at work. It was like little catty stuff. Girls are like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're not with her no more. And I'm like, man, I'll take that nigga. So that's what I did. And I didn't even want him. And I was just doing him dirty, man. But this is like, I'm really outside. Like, I'm feeling like I'm actually outside. I was not really an outside person. So I'm like, I'm outside. I'm showing out. But nobody gets to be around my son. Like, that's really it. Like, I've navigated the dating world very well without any exposure to my kids.
That sounds difficult.
It's not. It's really not. That's why I don't understand why people feel like every person they date got to meet the baby. Like, honestly, my kids know dad. They know like one. It's like two boyfriends. Like it's this. That's it. And these were like long term, like years long relationships. It was never a situation where I felt like I date outside the house, honey. Like we not. And it's like, even if you did come over here, my kids gonna see me go to bed by myself. They're gonna see me wake up by myself. Like, so they're not growing up like, oh, mom's is getting tagged up. Like none of that. Like because honestly, like I gotta be comfortable with you and feel like, this really has a foundation before I go and put my kids into the mix. Like I'm not gonna do that. So like I really was like full-fledged dating relationships with men who couldn't pick my kids out of a lineup. Like
that's interesting. Malika, what was your experience in that space?
Yes, so my story is a little different. It's similar in some ways. Okay, so I was married to my son's father and we got divorced. I also had him kind of young. I was like 24 and I got married at 24 too. It's a lot. I graduated college at 24. I did a lot at 24. Ooh. So it was yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So when when we separated, I kind of just like jumped straight for it. I'm with you with the whole never letting the people meet your child. People are crazy. No. And it's like, I want to be sure of the person, stuff like that. So, I mean, it was okay. It was like 2021. So it was like, online and I tried it, hated it, met people in person. They turned out to be weird. Not all of them, sometimes I would just, I wasn't the best. I would just ghost them like, okay, I don't like you anymore. Bye. And then over the years, my tolerance level has gotten really, 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 really like, I guess low, not high, low. Like I can't do some things. Like if you're not going to be not consistent, like if you tell like one side of like something weird, I'm like, okay, like maybe I should just like leave you and then I'll just block you. But it's been interesting though. It's been a, quite the journey. It's been a couple years, like 4 years now. I've been divorced and I'm just, doing the best I can. But yeah, no one really meets my son like at all. Like, no, he doesn't know anyone to be my boyfriend. Because I've, did a coworker. So like he'll see them, but he doesn't know that they're like, my, So no one comes into like our house where it's like, like it's not like you have to have that boundary. And I don't know if it's difficult. You just have to do it. You just, don't let no one meet your babies. But yeah, it's been real interesting though, to say the least. So yeah.
I can imagine. Chaz, before you started your beautiful family and you met the love of your life, have you had any experiences dating women with children?
I mean, dang, all right. Yeah, when I was young, I'm gonna say no and yes. All right, hit me out. I say no because I was like she said, I had my time, right? So when I was young, I was dealing with women, but it wasn't necessarily dating. It was, you know what it is.
Just hitting them single moms, but you wasn't cuffing them. Just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
So in that aspect, yeah, I've and that still was an experience too, though. Like she mentioned, right? Oh wow, oh man, like you know what I'm saying? You just in the atmosphere, you may see the sun off in the room, while mom's trying to do what she do. It's very, it is an interesting dynamic. And that on my end, you actually felt bad. It's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Now I feel like I want to kind of, get to know little man real quick just to let him know you mom's good.
What I'm about to do your mom's is cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't even worry about it.
No, so, but I you know, I really didn't try to, you know, disrupt the foundation she laid for him. So best I could, like if you know he's not here, you get spend your time with him. If you're not ready for me to meet him, please, you know, that's good, that's on you. But I'm not trying to disrupt what you got laid down for him. Now, if he come across my threshold, then yeah, I'm about to give him game. I wasn't no, you know, I wasn't rude in any way like that. I would try to, you know, give wisdom. I still always try to give youngest wisdom. I still do, right? So at that time, you know, but so my answer is no, but yes. So that, you know, that's what I got for you on that one right there. But I did see growing up though, my mom as a single parent, I watched how she tried to navigate that. And she was always, she never had a lot of men running in and out the house. I never really seen. I can't say I seen, like you said, I never seen no man go into my own room, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? If she really was taking a guy serious, she would have a conversation with us first. And you know, that's what's up. That was respect. So I remember maybe 2 guys that she's dated. One of them she ended up marrying, you know, at one point. But I do remember having them conversations with her as a child, and I never seen men running out the house.
I think that's important too, like that, because them type of things you remember, like you remember that as a young man. Like I know some dudes who had situations where that was the complete opposite, where like they remember, like they experiences was seeing their mom like with multiple men, like in intimate spaces in their house, and this is uncle such and such, and you never see him again after like a week or 2. It's like they got that kind of trauma where it's like I don't really look at my
uncles. Mom got no brothers.
Yeah, they ain't got no brothers. He's not at no family reunion, but he uncle somebody, and it's like they got that kind of trauma. That's like I don't even got like I lost respect for my own mother, so like I can't even look at women. This, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How ideally I would, you know, they deserve to be looked at. It's like I don't even. I seen how I seen it in my face, like through the person that like birthed me. Like I don't trust her. Or like
Right.
I see how she men. Like I can't even look at you with no type of nothing.
I mean,
I think the men online with that animosity towards single moms. I feel like all of them grew up like that. Like that's I will die on that hill. Like I feel like when you just feel like, oh my God, you're a single mother, you're tarnished, no one should love you. It's like, okay, because nobody married your mama, don't mean you gotta have that energy towards everybody else. And it's no shade to moms, but that's between you, her, and your licensed mental health professional. Like, don't bring other women into that.
I agree with you 100%. I think that's a lot. These dudes got like a lot of like trauma that they don't want to deal with for real.
I mean, for real, they do. But so one of the key things though, you know, a son, like we spoke on the previous episodes, we watch, right? So a son learns how to treat women by watching how men treat his mom, and by watching what she allows. And so that's how they navigate into this world like that. And so, like if mom,
that's what I'm always mindful of.
Yeah, you don't see value in himself, he's gonna grow up and not see value in women at all.
Yeah, the model is really important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always mindful of that. Just looking at that's really like the driving force behind that, is because I don't ever want him to think that certain types of behavior are appropriate. Now, if you do that, you did that, and you got that from somewhere, but you can't say you got it from me or in our home or anything like that. And then having a daughter also, so I have to think about both sides of that coin. So it's like I don't want to be that I don't want him to think that this is the representation of how women accept being treated and how you should treat him. And I also don't want my daughter to think that it's okay for men to just be falling all up and through. No.
Right. I mean, it's just the same when they say, you know, moms is the first teacher. It's the same with your dating life, right? Your dating life is your son's or daughter's first classroom on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 100% sure. I never seen my mother really like outside of my like my pops, and then when they divorced and she remarried years later, even in those relationships I never seen her romantic at all. Like, even with relationship with her husbands. I've never seen her
Yeah, facts.
bro be romantic or none of that. I've never seen that. I don't know what that looks like. Like I have no idea.
Bless
what
you.
that, I have no idea what that looks like. So like that's also a thing that's kind of like I had to like grow. I had to see that in like my friends, you know, houses, right? Like, oh shit! Like oh, when I used to see it, I used to go to my man's house and his parents was like real affectionate with each other. That shit used to like creep me out a little bit. I used to be like,
Like, ew, what's
Oh,
happening?
chill out. Like.
man, y'all like each other? Oh, shit. This is what it's supposed to look like. Got it. But like once you get older, you be like, damn, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. Like that's a healthy sign right there, where like the kids get to see their parents still give a fuck about each other. Like, that's dope. In my personal experience, I never grew up. I know a lot of dudes grow up and they're told like stay away from single women. Like I mean single mothers. Like don't you know what I mean? Like I never got that rhetoric, so like I wasn't necessarily opposed to it, right? Like, and my experiences have been positive. They've been overwhelmingly positive, and you know, in the past, I never had no issues where like that was any different from women without kids. Like that, I never noticed like a difference in that. Like any issue I would have had with anybody would have been whether they had kids or not. It was the same kind of.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't getting away. It wasn't because they had children that we had an issue. Like I never had, even in a situation that got super serious with me. You know what I'm saying? In the past, like that kind of changed my outlook on women with kids. Like even like the outside world, because there was a point where people on the outside was like, "You sure you want to do that? Like, you sure? Like that's a good decision? Like you sure? Like you kind of young? Like you need to take on all of that." For me, it was never like I never felt like I was making a bad decision. I still don't feel like I made a bad decision being serious in that relationship because, for one, you know what I mean. Like I learned a whole lot in that situation. I developed a lot of good relationships. The young man in question, I still have a relationship with. But I do know that some men have gripes with that, where it's just like I don't know if I want to deal with that dynamic because like if me and you don't work out, I also lose that relationship too.
Maybe.
And it's not always
in the
happening.
mindset.
Yeah.
Maybe. It does depend on the mind state of the parties in question. But I feel like that's a lot of people's experience. You know what I mean? And for a brief moment, that was my experience, right? Where it was just like it was such a like a tricky situation that like it wasn't no other way, you know, at least in that you know for a moment, but to not be that hands on, right? Like no other way to do it. Like it's a child at the end of the day, so you got to go through somebody to get to that child up until so it's like, like if I don't want you, if we're not good, you can't be good here, especially if we not blood. If like this, if it would be different, if like that's your kid, then you just got to figure it out. But that's how some people carry it. But
I told people that. Oops, sorry.
Have y'all ever had situations where like you felt like maybe a man you was interested in kind of second guess dealing with you because of a child? Have y'all ever experienced that before?
What's the say again?
Like for the moms, like ever been in a situation where like you maybe a man expressed interest, but he was still like, I don't know, like it's a kid in the picture. Like I don't know how I feel about that.
I have kind of, well, it was a girl. I'm bi. So it was a girl and she was like really hesitant. And I offered I was like, well, maybe you guys should you should like be near him, like just to see him maybe one time. She was a close friend of a close friend. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. And then she asked to like be in like the same space as him. And I was like, no, because she said no the first time. So I was like, no. But I have experienced that. And it's usually just like a no for me. Because if it's, as they say, we're a package deal, and it's true. Like, I mean, if you can't, there is no me without my child, so it's kind of an immediate no. But I have experienced that before, and it wasn't really hard. Just like, okay, bye. Because what else do you do with that?
Right.
I'm not gonna.
Somebody's choosing violence over here.
Yeah,
Leaves you no option in that situation. Like,
for sure.
but it is important. Like, I don't know. Like, I have dealt with one situation where, like, not that I had an issue with the fact that she had a child, but I didn't like the way she parented her child, so I didn't want to be around her. It's like, I don't like the way you parent your kid. So, like, I don't want to be around it because, like, it's gonna be frustrating to me to just experiencing it, and I'm not trying to be in your space making you uncomfortable. This is how you like to do it. This worked for you, I guess. So, like, I ain't trying to be
interesting because a lot of dudes wouldn't care. So that speaks volumes.
Nah,
I never
that's
really had an issue.
Yeah,
Like, dudes just, I'm like, look, I got kids. What you about to do? And they just roll with it. But I'm also very like I always kind of level set the expectations up front. So first of all, me having kids is my business and not your business. Because 10 times out of 9, you probably won't make it past 72 hours. So I don't even know why you worried about that. You're not gonna know them. They're not gonna know you. like let's not even, let me see if I even like you before you even start worrying about what your possible potential role could be in their lives. And honestly, a lot of in single times, meet a guy and literally within 72 hours, it's like I could be like, oh my God, friend, I met a boy. Never mind. Like immediately.
That's how it goes. For sure.
You're blocked. So like for them, it's like I really just set the boundaries, and it's like I've never had an issue with like a man, like, and even men without kids, which I really don't typically like. Like I like baby father, it's just not mine. So I don't do it. And who doesn't have kids, because men without kids be wanting like 4 kids. I'm like, sweetie, I got like 1 egg left, bro. You're not getting it. Like, no. So I would rather just date someone who has kids. Like, you don't want any more. I don't want any more. Cool. Let's just Brady bunch it up. But like a lot of times, even the dudes who pursue me who don't have children know that I have kids and it's never been a problem. But I'm very transparent about things. Like, there is no drama. Like I feel like a lot of the hesitance comes from, they feel like, oh, her baby father's still alive. He's probably no. So like I don't subscribe to that as someone who has actively not touched a man I had a child with since 2010. Like you can coexist, co-parent, we get along great, and there is no hunching, no secret, nothing going on. So I know that it's possible. So I don't come in with that mind state. And it's like, all you have to do is watch and observe, and you see how things really go. But I'm also very transparent. So it's like, look, I have to deal with him because we co-parent. I don't have to deal with you. You're gonna have to trust that there's nothing going on. There won't ever be any sneaky, underhanded scenarios or whatever, and you just gonna have to roll with that. If you can't deal with that, cool, go ahead and let's just call it before anybody gets any real feelings invested. And I've never had a man walk out on me because I got kids. So
oh yeah, no, it never gets it. But you know what it is? A lot of times, like with single moms, there's this like, I don't know who is still together with their child's father. I don't believe in that. Like, once we're done, like we're done. There's no like, oh, like you gotta worry about him. But that's a real thing. Like, people really are concerned about that. I haven't had that personal experience, but I have friends who are like, yeah, this person like, and I see it like on social media or whatever. I don't understand this whole like you can have a kid together and be like actual co-parents. It doesn't have to be in a relationship. Because same with
we can be friends. Like,
that's bro. Because for us, we're divorced, so no thanks. But like like I don't know. But that is a thing. It's an interesting stigma with single moms that I've noticed, and I'm just like, oh well, that isn't my experience, and it obviously isn't yours either. So I don't know.
It's 100%. It's 100% a thing though. I had a conversation with him years ago, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. He went on a date with a young girl. It's probably like with a young lady. It's probably like their second date or whatever. And he knew she had kids, but he liked her a lot, right? And usually his thing was like, I don't know, like I don't know how to feel about the kids, blah blah blah. But he liked her. They go out, they had a nice first date. Went on a second date. After the second date, he met up with me. I was at a bar. And I'm just like chopping up with him, like, yo, how the date go? Like, what's up with you and Shorty? He like, man, she's cool, man. I really like her. But he was like, well, her baby father's still alive, and I can't do it. I'm like, what? Like, that was his life. Like, I can't do it. And he was
serious. Just say that, like,
he was serious. He's like, bro, her baby father's still alive, bro, and I'm good. Like, He like, I need, if it's gonna be serious, I kind of need her to be on my program, and I don't really want another man's opinion or another man's thing in my mix. Like, all right,
Wow.
Yeah.
all right.
That's just like if you boy, you better get a gun and get out my face. Like at the end of the day, like don't be scary. But I mean, I just feel like there has to be clear boundaries. The boundaries get defined. But anybody who like when you hesitant like that, it's probably just not the life for you. And that's just been my experience, like with like what I've seen with other people. Like if you really have that hesitance, it's just probably not for you. It's better just not even go that route. I don't feel any type of way about anybody who feels like that because you got to deal with what you want to deal with. Some people want to have, like they family from scratch. They don't got no kids. They want their first child to be their person's first child. And I absolutely respect that wholeheartedly. I understand it. But it's just like, don't know that before you go trying to dibble and dabble with single moms because it's just not, like don't put people in that space where emotions get involved. And it's like, now it's suddenly too much when you knew all along what was at stake.
Yeah. Like you've noticed it.
Yeah, I can agree with that right there. Yeah.
Y'all, you said that you would prefer a man with kids already.
Please come with your own kids because I ain't got nothing for you, bruh. Nothing for you. Like I'm not, and then my kids are like I don't have little kids, so like I'm definitely not about to. Look, I got my youngest baby is this puppy, and he's 1. That's it. There's no more human children coming from around here, so it's like you got to come with what you got to come with what you want to have because I don't got nothing for you. And it's just like I feel like I don't know. It's just that it's just I feel like there's again when my kids were younger, mainly my son because my son is my oldest. When he was younger, I wasn't dating, and so like when I got into the dating world, he was what. Like 6 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, he wasn't a baby. So I didn't go through the baby stage of, I got to get my baby. Somebody got to watch my baby, But also I've always had a village too. So it really hasn't been a problem if I did want to go and do something for myself. I've always had a village and, he had an active dad at that time. So it's like, okay, we got, he don't have to be around this. He don't have to be exposed to anything. I still have the, bandwidth to live my life. So, it's like I didn't deal with a lot of those, kind of hindrances and stuff. So it felt normal to me. Like dating just felt like regular dating to me. Like the kids weren't even a factor. But I've dated guys who don't have kids, and I feel like I don't know, the vibe don't be there like the baby daddies, man. The baby daddies be having the it's just I don't know, it's just more cohesive. Like relationships with guys who have kids, and even still, it's been guys I ain't met your kids. It's been a year. You ain't met my kids. Okay, that's cool. We get there when we get there, or we might not get there at all, and I'm totally okay with that because that's how I feel. So I'm like, I'm not offended that I ain't met your kids, bro. Just don't be offended that you haven't met mine, and we just kind of go from there.
Interesting, Malika. What's your thoughts on
that? Let's see. I don't know. I feel like it makes sense to date someone that has a kid because there's a distinction between like, when a guy doesn't have kids, there's like certain expectations, but I don't always want to meet them because I'm like, I have a kid, leave me alone. But when he does have kids, it's like, okay, like he understands. Like it kind of just depends on like the flow. Like I'm kind of okay with either. I do prefer them to have kids. I do, if I do have to choose, definitely having a child already. And I do want maybe like one more. We'll see because my son is like 5 and 1, so I don't know, but I don't know, but I definitely would prefer the man have a child just because it just makes more sense because it's just so many things about like parenthood. Like you don't have to you don't want to have to explain like, oh, I know we're having this conversation about trees, but I have to go because my son just threw up. Like, like don't be like mad at me because I have to go abruptly. You know what I mean? Like it's just so many things. And I understand if men, oh, you have a kid, no, it's okay. I think everyone is, you should always respect everyone's like preference. So, but anyway, yes, I do prefer the man to have a child. I think.
At this age in our 30s, though, that should come with the territory at this point for the most part, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if I'm in my 30s without a child, I would go in just already kind of assuming like she might have chosen that. I'm kind of in that mental space to let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So
at this age for sure. Like
It comes with the territory, kind of, yeah, because we are getting older.
Get older. Yeah.
Never been.
We're aging.
I got another clip I want to run past you guys real quick and get your thoughts on.
And when it comes to dating single moms, I see a lot of people giving takes on dating single moms. And when it comes to dating single moms, my issues really aren't even with the mom. It's with what might come with that type of relationship. Number one, an angry ass baby daddy. And I don't got time to deal with a man's ego because that's just going to irritate me. I'm going to be honest with you. And then number two, if that relationship doesn't work out, that relationship with their kid, that breaking that bond with that kid would bother me so much. And it's not even the fact that I wouldn't be able to get over it. It's because now I am put this kid through a traumatic situation and took myself away from this child and or am not around this child because me and his mother didn't work out. Like, what if me and this kid create an amazing bond? We do sports together. We go places together. This kid trusts me. And then all of a sudden I'm not in that person's life anymore. I'm not in that kid's life no more. That would bother me. To sit up there and bring that type of energy to a little boy or little girl's life and get their hopes up, and then to break that, things like that don't sit well with me. Of course single moms deserve love, but those two things make you like kind of think about it a little bit more.
He kind of touched on a lot of the stuff that we already talked about, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all said bring your gun, you know what I'm saying? Be scared, don't be scared, don't be scary. We talked about, like, depending on that person, how y'all gonna move forward with the relationship with that kid if the relationship goes south. I don't know if that's something that can, like, especially if it wasn't like super serious, like if there wasn't like an engagement or a long-term relationship, a relationship with that child can't even be maintained because now you got to go out your way to maintain that relationship.
Well, it depends. I think you really gotta, but these are the conversations though. There's a lot that comes with dating a parent, whether it's a single mom, a single father, whatever. There's a lot that comes with dating a parent, and I feel like that's a lot of stuff you got to put on the floor like from the beginning. So, like, for example, I dated a guy for 4 years. He had kids. I have kids. We had a very much family dynamic, with us. Like my daughter was very close to him. Like my daughter was called his mother Grammy, like this because his son called her that, and she was just mimicking him. And so, but she was totally fine with that. Like there was like we had like a real family dynamic. And it's like me, I feel like I break up with people, I don't break up with kids. But I did put it out there that as long as you are comfortable with it and you don't have an issue with it, when we did break up, I told him like I would still like to have a relationship with your son. Like that's still my man's. And he didn't have a problem with that. Like literally, and even if I didn't orchestrate it through him, because like I was close with his mom, it was times where his mom was like, hey, come over, bring your daughter or whatever, and we get them together for a play date, things like that. Like so she would like there were ways. Eventually it fizzled out in that he kind of just fell off the planet. Like I don't even know anybody who's seen this man like the past decade. I don't know what happened to him, but either he fell off the face of the earth. But like it was like up, for a while that was an ongoing thing, and I was fully willing to still be, it. Of course, it's not in necessarily the same capacity because the dynamic has changed. But I'm still, want to be an active presence in your life. You've been around me for the past 4 years, like I loved him like my own child. I've had friends who, may be in a similar situation where it's just like, if you allow the person that you're dating, that's why you got to be mindful of who you have around your kids, because there is the off chance that this relationship that he has with your child might live longer than the relationship he has with you. And then it becomes unfair to the child because they take a loss behind whatever decisions y'all made. So it's like, be mindful. Like, if you really feel like you have, like, it's one thing if you feel like, oh no, there was like something really detrimental in relationship, the way it ended. It's like, no, I cannot have this man around me. Like, okay, cool. But if it's just like, okay, y'all parted ways, it wasn't necessarily this tragic or traumatic situation. I feel like it's kind of selfish to have the mindset like, oh no, well he ain't with me, so he can't see my kid. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I would prioritize what my kid. If my kid still wanted to see you, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah. Like.
Yeah. What do y'all think is like what's the proper like vetting that you think a parent should do when bringing somebody around it before bringing somebody around their kid? Like, what would you subscribe?
Like, I gotta like you. Like, I gotta really feel like you have characteristics that I wouldn't mind rubbing off on my child. Like,
Mhm.
because if you're gonna be around them extensively, like I really need to feel like you alright. If my kid ended up like you, that's alright. You know, like I'm cool with that. And that sounds weird because it's like if I wouldn't want them to be like you, why am I dating you? But also, I mean, hey, we all have our vices. So I just feel like you gotta be bringing something to the table that makes me feel like my kid might benefit from something, or at the very least, you're not turning them into something I don't want them to be. But just like you being intentional, you being like, I feel like if I could really envision like a future, like if I could see, like you could be my person, like I feel like I could envision that, even if we're not there yet. Like if I could honestly say, like I could, if this man asked me, you know, it might be a yeah, you know, it's probably gonna be a yeah. Then it's like, okay. But like it just takes time. I feel like it's just the intuitiveness about the feelings that I have that, you know, have made me feel like, okay, I'm comfortable with this person being around my child. But I just have to feel it. And in some people, it's just like, hell no. Like, and it's nothing that they did, but it's just I have gotten so much in tune with trust in myself. So it's like, no, but in the end, it has never steered me wrong. So
Yeah. I was gonna say time too. Like I just need some time because I don't. Sorry. Yes, please. Yes. Oh my goodness. Time. Because if I don't like you, that's a really big thing. Because my cousins feel like Malika likes someone for like 5-10 minutes and then she's done, which is very true. Like I just, oh my god, like I just don't like yourself. I have to really like you first, and then that's a really good point. Like, do I want your energy around my child? Do I want your lifestyle around my child? Because it just really depends. So it's a definite like a pretty long vetting process because this is your child and this is their childhood. You just got to be real careful, and of course always like trust in your gut because moms we always know we know. So I feel like once you just lean into that, like you're fine. But it definitely is quite a process because it takes time. Time is the first thing for me.
All right, so let me ask you guys this: like, if you think about, let me see how I can word this. In a situation where, or do you date differently because there's a child involved, or is it a situation where, like, you know, when you don't have kids, you can kind of like not waste time, but you don't have to be as deliberate with
or intentional.
Yeah, you don't have to be as intentional. Like, do you still have that? Do you still have that luxury?
man, I'd definitely be out here bullshit.
I
Hey,
feel like I was
Definitely.
where I just didn't care. I didn't care because I didn't want anyone to meet him. Like I did not care. Now, like right now, like at 8:09, December 17th, yes, there is more of like a okay, I'm a be more selective. But like we said, it's not like the kids are meeting these men or these girls, whatever. It's just yeah. But before, after my divorce, yes, I was, I had a time. And then now it's more like, okay, I'm more like closed off and like, so yeah. I did have a phase though where I was like, I don't really care.
So how do y'all know when y'all dating for the excitement part or versus the readiness? Like, how would you know when I'm ready? I'm really want to date for stability.
It's not a readiness thing for me. It varies from person to person. So it's like, I might meet a person and I know he on bullshit, but good time. So it's like, okay, you're gonna be my good time guy. Like we're gonna have a good time. I'm not gonna take you serious. I'm not even looking at you through that lens. I don't care what you do when I'm not around you. You're not about to meet my kids. You ain't about to be spending the night. It's not about to be none of that. Like if it's like all in the tone that's set, and that person is that person, and it's like once that's you can that's just where you at. Like you don't. Seriously, guys that come in that are intentional, they talk the talk, they walk the walk. It's like, okay. So it's like I'm always ready to have a relationship, to be intentional and be, in a meaningful relationship. But it's like if that presents itself, that's what we doing. Right. If you on playtime and I don't mind being on playtime right now, then okay, cool. Then it's a play date. But it just varies from like the experience.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100% because like it really just depends on who it is. Because same, like I'm always ready. Because I mean, from being a married stay-at-home mom all that stuff. Like I've had that life, so like I do want it again. But now, of course, it'll be a little different because I do have a child. But I'm always ready for a man to like make my life easier. Hello, but like be in a relationship. But it just depends. Now, what I will say now, like where I'm at right now, if they are on BS, I'll be like, all right, like I'm not entertaining this. But in the past, I may have been a little bit, but not anymore. But I think there is no like, oh, I'm ready or I'm not ready. I think a lot of, not all women, but I know for myself too, I am always ready. Like it's fine. It just kind of depends on the person and what what's in front of you, what's not, or what's what whoever is sticking you out. Because sometimes they just not. So yeah.
How do y'all like? Make the time, or usually squeezing people in? Like, yo, this is what time I got. I got 28 minutes between on next Friday. Or is it like
28 minutes is crazy.
Or are you
So
like
specific.
or are you making time to deal with people? Like, is it like you
I be having time. I'm a boring bitch. I be having time. So like, like I work, but it's like honestly, it's different for me because my kids are a little older. You know what I'm saying? Like if my youngest child is 16, like bro, like I can do what I want. Like, like that's not even my kid anymore. That's she's her brother's child at this point.
Right.
So it's like, like I can go, I can spend a night at your house on Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be home before she goes to school on Wednesday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like it's like, there's just, I've always just been able to navigate it. Like I just basically make the time. Like, but it's like, if we are like last person I was dating, like was, it was real intentional, it was real, all that. So he did meet my kids. It wasn't really like extensive because again, at the age that they are, they're not about to hang out with you, bro. They're like, oh, hey, what's up? Anyway, and they keep it moving, but it's like, he did meet them. They were familiar with him. I met his kids. I was around them a lot more extensively, but they are a lot, like younger, but it's just like, just the dynamic. Once I feel like it was not necessarily hard to navigate, it was still pretty simple prior to, but it got like, even like tremendously easier. Like, we knew each other's kids. It's like, okay, now we can navigate a whole lot more freely because it's not like picking and choosing, like, okay, I can't come link with you because you got the kids tonight versus you got the kids tonight, but I can still pull up and hang out with all of y'all. So it's like, that type of thing. But I mean, it was ample time.
Yeah, you kind of have to make time. I feel like. Because I'm a teacher, so I'm always talking. So there are days where I'm like, oh my god, I can't talk anymore. But I'm a yapper, so I love talking. But you really do have to make time. Sai, he's little, but he's more independent now. When he was younger, okay. I should have done this with like him not in the room. I didn't really think about that. But anyway, you have to make time for really anything though. Like we're all adults. We got responsibilities, so you have to just make time if you want, because there's no like you make adjustments because like I don't really, and then if I don't want to make time, then I just don't. But,
exactly, it's the prioritizing too.
Yeah. So dating world, right? So what would you want your sons, right, to learn about, I guess, women by watching how you date or don't date?
Well, I mean, again, I will say this. The men that I have dated that my son has met have been stand-up guys. They not, what I'm saying? No shade to the street pharmacists, but they've been career-oriented men. They've been good fathers. They, what I'm saying, respectful, considerate, like that type of stuff. So it's like, you see that's what I brought home. So you ain't about to be like, moms was out here with all these goons and goblins. No, none of that. Like, all you just know, like she was dating respectable men who, were in turn also offering like, certain things to him in that space. Like, okay, he's trying to do what? Let me, talk to my folks and plug him up with this. So let's chop it up about that, and, trying to be, that type of role where it's like, I mean, at his big age now, it's like you talking to him man to man. So it's like, but young man to older man, but man to man nonetheless. So like, yeah, I don't feel like I've ever brought anybody home that he'd be like, now mom, what are you doing? Like, so, I mean, feel like I've chosen pretty well as far as who he's been exposed to. I mean, I feel like the worst man I brought home was probably his daddy, if you be
Hey,
honest.
yo.
So, I mean, you know, if you to know his dad is to know mom doing all right now,
Yeah.
because that's what I came from, babe. So yeah,
Yes, ma'am. I got you. I got you.
That is so funny.
All right.
It's very real.
What happens in a scenario where like you're dating a guy, you know, say you're not ready to introduce him to your kid, but you like him, you like him, y'all dating for maybe a year, y'all dating, and you're like, you know what, I think we're moving in that direction. Maybe I want him to meet my kids, and then your kids don't like him. You're like, I like this guy a lot, but my kids do not like this dude. They don't.
I don't know if that would ever happen. Like, why
yeah, I
would
can't
that
imagine.
happen? Like, you mean like we've been together for like a year and a half, and like my child's like, why would that happen? I feel like that wouldn't happen.
I'm just
I don't
saying.
know. That's hard.
I feel like my kids don't be caring enough, like to that level. Like, oh, I don't like him. Like, they're not really like, they chill
Yeah.
kids. They don't do it. They're not that. Oh my god, my mama, like don't touch her. Like, they're not them type of kids. But
Yeah,
I feel like in that event, I would really want to get like some tangible, like what? Why? Let's sit down and let's chop it up, and not necessarily with him, but with them. Like, what is it that you have a problem with? Because sometimes some of these kids are just nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky. They don't want to share their mother or whatever the case may be, especially if it's like a new scenario for them where it's like, I'm not used to you having a man around and now you got this man around. What's that about? So I would want to have like some real legitimate like explanation. What is it that you don't like? Tell me something. What is it given? Because that's a very fine line to, kind of straddle there where it's like, sometimes kids are really good at reading energy in folks. And then sometimes kids are just petty. So it's like, you got to really get to the bottom of this. Is the pettiness side, or are you seeing something in this man that I haven't seen because you're seeing it from the perspective of, as the child who's getting this weird energy, like, is he giving pedo vibes? Like, what are we doing? Like, right. So yeah, like I would want to, we gonna have to talk about it. It wouldn't just be an immediate, oh, my kids don't like you now. Like, let's get to the bottom of it. Let's see if it's something that can be fixable. Maybe he might have said something that rubbed you the wrong way, or you took it the wrong way, or, you just never know.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider, though, right? Like, there's got to be something there, maybe, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's something there, something to investigate, like you just said. It's a conversation to be had, at least.
Yeah.
What do I want to ask y'all?
I have a question. What support, right? As single, moms do, or just in general, not just specifically y'all. What support do single parents need, though, when it comes to dating, if any, that people just don't talk about?
Supports, like tangible supports, or like emotional support, or just like support?
Both. Yeah, both. A little bit of both.
That's a good question.
I mean, I feel like you definitely need a village. You go, depending on your age of your kids, somebody gotta watch them kids while you running the streets. But aside from like the actual physical support, like just the understanding, like it like I said, it's heavy. Being a parent and dating can be very heavy because you have to, like, being a parent is already heavy because you're worried about all the woes of the world and protecting your child. But then it's like, now I'm inviting this person potentially into my own, intimate space, my home, or whatever the case may be. So you really have to be mindful of that. And it's just, constantly feeling like when you do expose your kid to somebody, you want it to work out. Like you do. You want it to pan out. So you don't want to, feel like you've invested all this time into someone who just didn't pan out. Sometimes it just be like that. But I don't feel like anybody who is intentional about who they introduce their kids with is going into this with the mindset that, okay, yeah, this is probably gonna fail in like a year or two. So I mean, like you need like that village of like not only support with like the kids so you can date the person, but like also that understanding. You kind of just need, like, you might need people to kind of talk through, navigate the different different elements of the dating experience or whatever, because sometimes you come into it with certain mind states based on, like, your past or other, previous experiences and stuff like that, and you just need a little perspective. So I mean, like, I feel like my like friend circle, especially like my closest like girlfriends and my male bestie have kind of been like that for me, where it's like I know I'm a chronic overthinker. So I always have somebody always gotta talk me off the ledge because my mind just be look, it'll take me there. My intrusive thoughts get real intrusive. So it's like, okay, before I do too much, let me filter myself through one of my friends, do a little vector check, like, okay, I'm tripping. And it's like, yes, friend, you're tripping. All right, cool. And that saves my dating experience a lot because men don't realize how much that conversation with my homegirl stopped me from what I was about to do to you, like, or what I was about to say to you, really, because I don't really do stuff. I'm not like a crash out, but like I speak my mind. So it's like I was about to say something wild to you, and my friend was like, "No, friend, what about this? What if it was this?" And it's like, you know what?
You're right.
You right. Like I'm definitely wrong, bitch, queen. Like, listen.
Right.
So it's like sometimes, like, girl, he told me I left my brush over there, and he sent me this picture. It's not even like I know I had my brush, and then it was a whole different brush, but it was my brush. And it's like, see, I could have popped off on you. And she's like, friend, don't you have that brush? And I'm like, yes. So like,
right.
That literally just happened. That just happened to me. I'm talking to someone now, and like, I had like an issue, and they're like, "Do you think that you were triggered by the response?" Because I'm thinking I'm right. And I'm like, I can't believe I haven't heard from him all day. He calls me, and I'm like, and they're like, well, maybe you're just a little triggered. And I was like, maybe so. Because one thing I've noticed that when I'm by myself, like everything's fine. When you're with someone, like some of your like things can kind of come up because you're having an interaction and stuff like that. So like for me, I'll kind of see more of like how I respond to things because I can't control someone else. I can control myself, but no one else. So I've noticed that. But literally same. I just had the conversation like an hour ago. I was like, am I tripping? They're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I would like, you know what, this isn't working for me. I don't like XYZ, and then I'll just block them. But like I can't sometimes that's not the answer. Like sometimes so having that support system, same, almost the exact same. I have that support system of my cousins and my friends, my sisters. Like it's just it helps, and it helps because it is so hard. Like it's not going for me going from being married and then being divorced and having this like new because someone's like, well, don't you want to be a divorced mom? Like, no, I'm a single mom. Like I'm single according to my taxes, so it's fine. But like it's like a whole different identity, and then it's just so much. But having that support is like I couldn't imagine not having a village. Like I don't know what I would do. I can't even like imagine it. So the village, having the kids to go, and then also having like people to talk to, because I also overthink too, and I'm like, oh well, maybe I did this too much, or maybe I like him too much, and it doesn't have to be all that. Sometimes you can just so.
Let me ask you guys, like, when she decided to like start dating again, I know a lot of you was real young when you made that decision. Were you like, were y'all like still emotionally attached to your ex when you decided to start dating? Or maybe you didn't know it at the time. Maybe you thought you
absolutely not.
Really?
I made the decision to end the relationship. So, that's a years-long relationship. That was my first love, like first everything. So it's like when I got to the point where it's like, we're not really, and this is weird because it sounds like mad mature for somebody at this age, but like realistically having a kid young will grow you up if you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like some people pawn it off on their mom, run the streets. I wasn't that person. So I grew up fast. So for me, I felt like we were growing in two different directions. Well, we weren't growing together. Like I'm growing, I'm evolving. You kind of stuck in the same place. And I felt like we were too young to be this boring. And me, like, I feel like I'm more of an adventurous person. This boring, like we were very boring and way too 20 and 22 years old. And we're bored. I'm bored out of my mind. I'm 20 years old. Like this is ridiculous. But I felt like not even like I'm an excitement junkie or something. But I feel like we should be trying new things. Like I'm willing to try most things at least once. And I feel like I'm making the sacrifices and doing things I don't like to do to spend time with you, but I don't get the same courtesy. So after a while, it's just like this, there gotta be more to life than this. So I'm like, you know what? This ain't gonna work. But this is somebody I've known since I was 11 years old. So it's like, well before we dated, I've known him for most of my life. So it's like at this point, okay, cool. We need to be friends. I felt like I had to choose between the friendship and the relationship. I'm picking the friendship because we don't have to be together, but I feel like at bare minimum, we should be friends to co-parent. So I picked the friendship. And then at that point, it's just like, you know, when you make that type of decision, when it's not tied to like an isolated incident, an act of betrayal, he didn't cheat. It was, well, not then, but like, but it's like a, you know, he didn't like, it wasn't like, oh my God, he cheated on me. He did this. I can't do this no more. I'm done. You broke my heart. It's more like a logical decision. And those ones are harder because it's really thought and not emotion. And so like when I got to that point where I'm really like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just not happy in this relationship and I'm too young to feel like this. I feel like we're still young enough to go out and find our person. So at that point, you know, usually when you make that logical decision, you've already emotionally detached yourself from that person months prior to the actual severing of the relationship. So at that point, I'm like, I'm absolutely over it. And then I started dating, but I was still living with him, at his mom's house. Because I let my son stay there because I started going to college and I was working full time and I didn't want, you know, I was living in the city. I didn't want him to go to DC schools. I want him to have to be getting on the metro and the train and walking to school. So, you know, I sent him to Alexandria with his dad. And then I wasn't seeing him enough because I was working full time and I was a full-time student. So I started staying with them. Then when we split, I stayed for like a couple months afterwards until I got an apartment. So at that time, it was awkward space because he like, you know, when I started talking to like other niggas and stuff, and I'm on the phone, and he like, this bitch in my house and she ain't talking to other niggas. Like, it was like real crazy, but that was a him thing. We did get, you know, once the initial kind of shock wore off, because I think he thought we were going to get back together. And when, you know, like a couple months had gone by and we hadn't got back together, it's like, oh, she's serious. So it was like, okay, at that point, we kind of worked more back towards being friends again. And because once upon a time, he was one of my best friends. So once we got back to the friendship side of things, it's like I could pop over there when I'm in the area, you know, holler at them, see how they're doing. He'll ask me how school is going, and we were good friends or whatever. And I didn't have any issues. Like, so it was no emotional attachment for me. I was like full-fledged ready to get outside.
Yeah.
Malika, what was your experience in that transition?
Yeah, there wasn't really its attachment was to like the family unit that we had, because I meant to mention this, that he had a son prior who was like 2 when I met him, but like around 4 when we got married, and then like 7 when we got divorced. So that was hard for me, and he did not allow me to maintain that relationship. And because of that, like there were certain things that happened that I did indeed lose respect for him. We're cool now because we have to be, of course, but when it comes to the emotional attachment, it really wasn't to him, because what happened was it wasn't even nothing that was like super like drastic. It wasn't like he was cheating. We had an argument. He didn't like how it went out. He didn't want to talk. No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk. He wanted to talk. And then he just went to go file the papers. And I was just like, that's crazy. So then, of course, they always come back like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Da, da, da. But because he went so far to do that, I was just like, I was already done. So there wasn't really any emotional attachment to him. To our family unit, yes, that took a while for me to kind of like get used to that, because I was used to, you know, it being the 4 of us. But to him, not really. We've had to go through a lot, you know, in and out of the court. So it's almost not even possible, like to him, like that. It's just so it's so dead. It doesn't exist. But as my son's father, you know, that's my son's father. You know, we have to be on the same page. But yeah, no, not really. I kind of moved on pretty quickly. It was crazy because he went through my email, crazy, and was looking for stuff and saw this is back, 4 years ago. And he saw that I was on Hinge, and he was like, oh, I can't believe he told his lawyer. It was such a big deal. And I was just like, I mean, we're not together anymore. He was so upset. And I was like, I mean, you are done with me. So that was the whole thing. But I mentioned it to say that I moved on before he did. But he was the one that filed. So yeah, there was no emotional attachment to him. It kind of was severed.
So it gets tricky, man.
Yeah,
Violent and prove a point is crazy, because excuse me, like
literally. And then, you know, and I believe, you know, and it's crazy because my dad, like my father is the best. Like he recently just like saved my life, guys. Like he's great. But I was raised like, you know, when you say something as a man, you carry your thick. He was like, you know, we can get divorced and get married again. And I was just like, whoa, like you're crazy, bro. Like who does that?
no.
His
No, we
parents
can't.
did that. So I guess he thought that if they did it, that he would do it. But I was like, I don't know who you think I am. Like, you can't just play with, like, I was obviously married to him. We had a whole life, and you can't just have a life. Oh, you're on my husband, go file for divorce. And then, oh, just kidding. Let's stay together. No, that's crazy.
No backseas.
Yeah, literally, that's what I said. He was upset. So, yeah, no, there's no. I mean, of course, I missed what I thought was a good marriage, but over time, retrospect, you see everything, and I was like, it's okay. But yeah, that's my story. I had no emotional attachment there.
Because I know a lot of times people will jump back into that dating space with still attached to whoever they walked away from, with the child being involved, and it becomes like a messy situation. Like,
very much given. Please come get him. Somebody come get him.
Yes, that's a lot.
Hustle with the girl that came and got him, but it won't for him. It was because she was trapped. Like, damn. Miss Mamas. I want no parts of that, honey. I absolutely washed my hands. I don't know what story you've been told, but I'm here to I come forth with the gospel that is not what happened, darling. You can have that. No thanks.
Literally all yours. So you don't even worry about it.
So I know like how time consuming parenting can be, especially when you're like doing it alone, right? Or you're the primary parent. Like, there's a side of the internet, or that believes that if you have children and you're not with that child's father, you need to be single until your kid is an adult. What do y'all think about that?
Fuck no.
Right? Like, why would I do that? My father did that. My dad did that, and he recently got married. My dad is 71. He was single, and I was like pushing him to date because from 13 to 24, my father raised me. And like, I have an interesting, like, I was with my mom, that's with my dad. He was a single father, but I wanted him to date, and he was like, no. And like, he did that, and that's crazy. Like, that's no. Like, why would no? I'm not waiting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a whole shot. I watched the whole video on it yesterday. He was talking about. They were talking about how, like, if you're not. They just say, like, because the child takes so much time, energy, and focus that, like, you don't have time to be dating anybody.
But they don't, though. That's the thing. Like, I don't know who created that narrative that every waking hour is spent with your child, or thinking about your child, or plotting on what you're gonna do with your child. Because baby, you are still a human being before you're a parent, before you're anything else. So it's like, if I can spend 8 hours of my day working, nobody's telling you what you're doing at a job. Why you supposed to be focused on your kid? Like, no one's telling you that. Like, you need to learn how to multitask. I'm sorry, but y'all gotta learn how to multitask, and that's the problem. Because there's 24 hours in a day, honey, and I don't have to spend every last one. Like this. You can't. Parenting is not this all time consuming situation. It's really not. Like, I don't know where people got that from. It's just like, if no shade, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but hear me out. It's like when women be pregnant and they be like, how you pregnant and you dating somebody, you need to be focused on the kid not even here yet, bro. What am I focused on?
Can do what they want.
Realistically, like, just say you think it's tacky. I can respect that. But for you to say she shouldn't be dating because she's pregnant and she should be focused, like, every day you just come home and just at the baby bump, that's all you do. You just every day. No, honey, you got time. Do your thing. Like, that's insane. Outside of parenthood.
Like, I think that was you that said it. They're like, they don't expect men to do the same thing.
I know. Because listen, the way that this man is, I'm the primary parent. He be living his life like, I can't even drop too much because, like, he made me see this, but like no, like, he lives his life, and also it's a part of the formula. I saw this. I think it was like a quote. But I've heard it before, like, you can't pour from an empty cup, okay? I'm not saying that dating is filling you up, but if it's something that you do value, do it. It's ways to do it without, yes, sorry. Just open the door.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I was going to say, like, that's what you have to do, but it's like, you have to take care of yourself. And that's what, if it's, what you want to do it. I don't think you have to wait. There are really no rules to it, to be honest, but I think that's kind of like psycho. Like, why would you wait? Like, because then I'm not saying you can't date when you're older, but like, imagine dating and you're like 55 and like, I couldn't do it.
Trying to find a boo. Girl, get out my damn face. Right.
Like,
because
doesn't
no
even
one has
work.
that energy about anything else. It's always
Right.
that. You don't, if I wanted to go take a pottery class or anything else that's
Mhm.
taking my time and my attention away from my child, nobody has anything to
Mhm.
say. But as soon as it's another man, it's a penis
Oh my
involved, and now all of a sudden it's girl, nah, don't do that.
God.
Just date when you grown.
She's
No,
right.
absolutely
She's
not.
right. She's right.
And it
Let's
is not
let's
option.
so we can wrap this show. Let me just ask you guys. We go around. Everybody just give like one either piece of advice to people who are trying to navigate that space where like maybe they just entered the dating space after leaving a relationship and they have they're the primary parent or not, maybe whatever. Like what is one piece of advice that you could give them to execute to do it properly?
They ain't got to meet your kids, bro. Like, they don't have to meet your kids. You can successfully navigate the dating world
Yeah.
without. I dated a man for 2 years, and that man cannot pick my kids out of a police lineup. You can actively date and not have them people around your kids and still have a fully functional relationship where you actually spend time together. You take a little coordinating, but you can do that. So don't feel obligated that every person you meet has to meet your kids. Like, that's what makes dating as a parent more complicated, is you want to keep bringing everybody into your baby life, and you don't have to do that.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I would say if you want to date, just do it. And don't make it too complicated. Don't let them meet your kids. I'm gonna second that. And just take your time. You can make adjustments, but it's more than possible. It's more than possible. Take your time, be gentle with yourself through the transition, and just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. So yeah, that's my advice.
My one piece would be, it's been a good conversation, but my one piece of advice would be, date in a way that your child doesn't or never has to recover from, right? Doesn't have trauma from, right? So when you move with intention, move with boundaries and healing, because when finding love for real, that should be the ultimate goal. Though it doesn't have to compete. Love don't have to compete with the parenting. It really should just complement it, right? So, because at the end of the day, we still want to build family, right? Because family is what's keeping us back right now as a community, because we don't have family. So we don't have family, we don't have community. We don't have community. This is why we're in this position we're in, because we still haven't figured out how to keep a solid family yet. And so that'll be my one piece of advice, man. Just move with attention and yeah.
Good one. And I would say that it's important when you in that space, when you dating with a child, not to be desperate. Don't date desperately, right? Don't be desperate in dating, and make sure that that person that you're dating or the people that you're dating respect the fact that you are a parent, right? It's not something that they tolerate. It's something that they respect, right? And it's something that they it ain't just like, oh, I like you, but so I'll deal with the fact that you got a kid. It'll be like, oh, I like you, and I don't mind, I like that you have a kid, or I think that's there's benefit in that. It ain't just like, oh, I like you so much, and I'll just deal with it. I'll deal with the kid, whenever he's around or whatever. But like, I really rock with you. Like, don't do that. Like, that's dating. That's dating desperately, I feel like. So that would be
Just on that though, Ab, also that ties into, you're not damaged, you're not tarnished goods because you have a child. So
Yeah.
if that's the mind state that leads you to date desperate, is you feel like I gotta take what I can get. No, baby, you can be choosy. Trust me.
Be very true. Be more choosy, because you like no.
Exactly. That's all the reason to be more
so many
selective.
kids, bro. They be having so many kids. Sorry, you're making me mad.
I appreciate y'all time and the conversation again. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. This is Man in the Middle. Yada, Chaz, Malika. Thank you guys.
Right. Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.